India and Australia are nearly 8,000 kilometers apart, but in geopolitical terms, they couldn't be any closer. India is the 7th largest country in the world, while Australia is the 6th largest nation. These two are powerhouses bordering the Indian Ocean and the Indo-Pacific. But they've got an even bigger giant of a common problem. That's in the shape of an aggressive and expansionist China, eager to change the status quo, either through bullying or pressure tactics. China's rise remains a predominant security concern for both India and Australia, announced the Australian Deputy Prime Minister as he arrived in India for the second and latest 2+2 ministerial meeting to deepen bilateral defense and trade partnership. Talks are in advanced stage on mid-air refueling, anti-submarine and anti-drone warfare, and cybersecurity. So how strong are the India-Australia defense ties?
Real momentum in the India-Australia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. Our Prime Ministers actually exchanged visits this year.
And can the two partner nations keep an expansionist China in check? Sharing common concerns regarding China is driving the two Quad countries closer. In 2020, India and Australia elevated their ties from a strategic partnership to a comprehensive strategic partnership. And now the second 2+2 ministerial dialogue has been held in the national capital. Australia too faces its own encroaching challenges from China within its regional sphere. China's forays into the South Pacific have galvanized Australia and the United States into action, with the Aussies set to acquire up to 8 nuclear submarines from the US and technology. India also is growing its outreach to the island states in the South Pacific. The security in Eastern Indian Ocean and especially along the ocean trade routes through Southeast Asia remains a key focus, especially since $3.5 trillion worth of world trade passes through India's backyard, below Andaman and Nicobar Islands, through the Strait of Malacca towards the South China Sea. Keeping these ocean highways free of Chinese bullying is extremely important. Our cooperation with India is at the heart of Australia's approach to ensuring the Indo-Pacific remains open, inclusive and resilient, added Richard Marles, who is also the Australian Minister of Defence. India and Australia are also discussing cooperation in hydrography, a science which maps and measures features in oceans or along the coast. Penny Wong, the Australian Foreign Minister, also hailed ties with India as central to stability and prosperity. In August, Australia hosted the Grand Malabar Naval Exercise of Quad Navies. The military drills off Sydney coast saw state-of-the-art warships from the United States, Japan, Australia and India. Xi Jinping had his eyes firmly on the war games as Chinese satellites tracked the Quad Malabar exercise. Malabar started as Navy drills between India and the United States in 1992, with Japan joining in 2015 and Australia too in 2020. Earlier in 2022, Austra Hind exercise in Rajasthan took this trend further. The Australian side was represented by the 13th Brigade of the 2nd Division and the Indian side involved troops from the Dogra Regiment. India and Australia signed an economic cooperation and trade agreement last year. ECTA helped secure access to Australian business opportunities for trade in India's expansive market of 1.4 billion people. Nearly 85% of Aussie product exports to India are now tariff-free, rising to nearly 90% by 2026. Additionally, 96% of exports from India to Australia are now tariff-free down under, rising to nearly 100% by 2026. In a diplomatic maneuver the previous year, India joined Brazil at the International Atomic Energy Agency to support Australia against Chinese attempts to derail the development of Australian nuclear submarines with US help. This demonstrates a united front of global powers against Beijing. China has repeatedly violated international order, disrespected international rulings, and continues to violate exclusive economic zones of countries like the Philippines, Vietnam, and even Japan. While the world fears that a possible Chinese invasion of Taiwan could spark a global conflict. With the Chinese threat looming large, Australia and India are drawing closer. The two nations are democratic allies with formidable military capabilities, standing united against China's bullying tactics. If you found this video informative, then do subscribe to InConnect News or hit the like button so that it can reach more viewers.